travel terribly often. I travel probably a couple times a quarter, maybe at least once a quarter to see some clients in the mainland, but I try and spend as much of my time I can here in Kihei on the south side.
Well, I mean, once a quarter or twice a quarter is pretty darn cool. You're really blessed and lucky to be able to do that, right?
Oh, totally blessed. Yeah. And I use my own tool to kind of organize my own travel and my dashboard so I can make that travel happen without increasing stress levels. So that way
Cool.
when,
Well,
because
that's awesome. We're just going to get into
yeah.
it right now because I'm seeing we are live. So let me minimize all these things. So welcome to everybody. If you don't know me, I'm Janice, and I'm primarily doing this in my group, but the way we work around with Facebook is it is on my timeline as well. So that's the reference to the group, but welcome to my group and welcome to Joey, my friend here, who I want to share what he's doing with all of you. He's here in Kihei, local like me. Aloha from Maui from us both. And I'm just super excited to share what he's doing. I love seeing young entrepreneurial people like this shining their light. Now, Joey grew up here in Kihei, so this is very cool to see someone still in their, formative, youthful years out there building a business in the community that you love and that you grew up in. I just really appreciate that because right now there's so many people that grew up here that have had to leave island, and we want to support our beautiful Maui. So grateful for that. Also really grateful
Totally.
for the fun things that Joey
Absolutely.
has introduced me to. So I'm going to stop talking here in a second and let you share a little more about that, Joey. But if you know me, Janice, I am definitely into doing what we can to adapt to stress better, to help our bodies adapt to stress better so that we can achieve more well-being. And what Joey offers in the business community as a business and life coach really does help people simplify and streamline and get really clear. And I love that. And that really reduces stress. So welcome to you, Joey, and welcome to all of you watching. If you're watching the replay, put hashtag replay. We love to know that you're here and that you get value of this from this. So Joey, thank you so much. Come share with our audience. What are you about and what are you doing? And how were you so fortunate to be able to stay here in Kihei and be entrepreneurial?
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. I'm very fortunate, very blessed to be here. I love working with local businesses and local people in the community. I do work with some people on the mainland, but I think just taking some of the things we learned from businesses on the mainland and applying them to here in Maui is a huge advantage. But I focus on stress reduction and managing lifestyle and business through custom created dashboards using a really cool software, mind mapping software called MindMeister. So rather than using traditional software or another person's app that's a little bit clunky or too convoluted to really manage how custom your life is or your business is, I use a combination of custom prompting and question asking to guide you through the creation of your own custom operating system and dashboard that can manage your personal life and business all in one place. So it's
Oh, I
about
wanted to
creating
stop
one
you right there.
comprehensive and
Oh, I
custom
wanted to,
tool.
Joey, I want to stop you right there, not to interrupt, but that was just a lot of information. And I want to just slow it down because it's so powerful. First of all, I did a
Yeah, let's
couple
do it.
sessions with Joey already and did some mind mapping. He was so kind and generous to offer it to me. He wanted me to see what was possible. And I have to tell you, it's amazing. I know a lot of people do vision boards, but this takes it like really deep, and you can get into that. I just want to make sure that they're hearing you. It's a life and business dashboard. This is so cool. It's very colorful, very easy to read, which is something important to me. So explain, and it's an app that Joey has absolutely made custom and works with you in a custom way. Explain that a little bit more about that idea of life and business dashboard and what you're talking about, because this is advanced stuff for a lot of people.
Yeah. Well, everybody does this already in their head. You know, everybody's humans by virtue of being human beings, we're planners and we're very good at it. And we're even better at planning when we're visually doing your head already, which is very custom to your strategy, your life, your outcomes, your goals. Take that and put that on a paper. And rather than taking that and putting it onto actual paper with a pen or a pencil, like you would do, decades ago, we have software now that we can get really cool looking, engaging and ingest and debrief some of the information off of our live out of our head, thereby reducing stress and reducing cognitive load. So the idea is to reduce stress by taking this awesome plan that everybody has and putting it on the paper and fleshing it out, using the software to do it in an engaging way.
I think that's amazing. And that just made more sense to me a little bit because this is, I've been vision boarding forever. And I love that
Right.
concept. But what you showed me was so unique. Can you give like, I don't know, maybe we can screen share. It seems like it's kind of have giving us some issues a little bit with your connection. I'm hoping people could hear all of that because that was very valuable. But basically, what you're doing is you're utilizing the power of AI as well, correct?
Definitely. The key with AI, I mean, everyone is learning how to use AI to their to best of their benefit, but there's a really cool way you can use it and apply it towards your planning. What I do is I create custom prompts using AI and then using what I come up with myself. But the AI is incredibly helpful when it comes to creating the prompts that we ask and that we talk about during our sessions. That then we take those prompts and the information that comes from them to create the plan itself. So the AI is really helpful at helping prompt us as to what needs to be in the plan, and then it's our job to go and build it out. And I do that in a custom fashion for my clients, and I also teach clients how to do it for themselves as well. So some people become long-term clients, and some people become shorter-term clients who want to learn how to use this software and learn the framework themselves, and then they can go ahead and run their own plan. But for some clients, they like having somebody like me who can prompt them and who can use my AI to generate the questions. But I think it depends on if you like to have a little bit more hand holding or not. Some people really like to have that hand holding and like to have the questions being asked to them and like it to be a more of a discussion. And that discussion then results in your plan coming to life in front of you. So when we meet, I share my screen and I create the plan in front of you while we talk about it. So you can kind of focus on being stream of consciousness and speaking from the top of your head and be more focused on content and driving that content from your head rather than trying to use the AI at the same time or use the software at the same time. So I can use the software for you, use the AI for you, and really you focus on prompting and making your brain perform at the highest level it can too. I know my connection may be a little bit unstable, but if it's possible, if the screen share works, I'd love to show some of what the master action plan looks like. But the master
Joey,
action
I would
plan or
I
the
would
map
love that.
is the central
I,
dashboard that we use.
I would love that. There is a little breaking up, so just remember, kind of go slowly. But what I was going to say is, when I did it with you, I loved that aspect of it because I tend to just the ideas come fast and furious, and it can slow my creativity down when I get stuck in trying to, make those connections, like you said.
Absolutely.
So working with someone like you that has that, and then I love too. It's not just a note taking device. It goes deeper and deeper and deeper so that you can really understand who you are, why you do what you are, who your ideal customer is. And what I love too is in my network of people that I'm assisting, they are looking for ways to get clear. They're looking to lose weight or feel better or whatever.
Right.
They can use this platform. I'm going to start offering this to people through you. And we talked about that, where they can utilize this themselves really to get clear, will help them with their transformation. So yeah, you have the right to
Absolutely.
share here. Go right ahead. Let's see if all of this Zoom and recording stuff will accept it.
Cool. Yeah, I'll screen share in just a second. Last thing I would add to that is you make a great point that everyone wants to improve their life, everyone wants to reduce their stress, and everybody has specifically they have goals on how to do so. So the main component to what our exercises that we do with clients is we figure out what their goals are and break those down into bite-sized pieces. What are the habits and the action items that we can take or that we can do to try and execute on those short term, mid-term, and long-term goals. So the dashboard or your master action plan really becomes a compass that you can follow and guiding you in the right direction towards those short, mid, and long-term goals that you have to improve your quality of life. I think quality of life and reducing stress is the key to making your map work for you or your master
It's the
action
key to
plan
your
work for
health
you.
span as well. And I definitely can say that.
Absolutely. Yeah, and I think a big focus of the plan is your longevity. It's your health long term, your mental and physical health. Yeah, you'll see if I can, I'll share this screen now. I'll show you some of the key components. Let's go to here. Let me know if that's coming through okay.
It is.
Okay, cool. So I call them master action plans or maps, and I break them down into a few key components. On the personal side, the most important sectors that I look at are your finances, your time, your lifestyle, or your quality of life, your health, longevity, and your relationships. And we talked about health being so important. That's really should be at the, should really be at the top, if anything, with your relationships, because these are your most important assets you have is your health and your relationships. And when it comes to your health, we look at your mental, your physical health, and we break those down up into key core verticals beneath those. That could be something like physical exercise, or it could be therapy, or it could be new health regimens, and that's where Janice and her excellent offering comes in. That would fit in excellently under long health longevity and the work you do there, Janice, with your clients. And we have financial resources, time management, and lifestyle optimization that all bleed together into a really important group of uh, verticals, I call them, or sectors of your life, branches of your life that all wrap up into your personal flow. Then if we take the workflow separately, we can look at each business as its own management dashboard. So we create a branch on the map for your business that really breaks it down into some key components. I always look at each business as having these core components. Some may not apply, but for the most part they do. But breaking things down into operations, revenue, balance sheet, accounting and bookkeeping, your finances, which could be your taxes, your cash flow, your banking, your cap table for how you structure the ownership of your organization. So you can really get into the weeds on how to run a business through this platform as well. So I
Is
typically
it you
separate it
putting
between.
in the ideas, or for example, if you were in
Mhm.
the financial quadrant there and you were you had a goal of saving, would you be, is it giving you resources and ideas, or are you giving it the information like a note?
Yeah, we're feeding information into this tool, but that's where the AI can come in too. We can take the notes and the goals and the action items or the outcomes that we determine in this map, and we can go into our AI tools and figure out exactly how we want to go and achieve them. But part of my role too is strategy. So I provide strategy and I provide recommendations for your lifestyle and for your habits and for how to achieve your goals. So I'm not only documenting and building the map, but I'm also giving advice where I see fit and where I can add value. And the workflow aspect is really cool. I try and break it down between priorities in this quarter, this year, the next 30 days, and trying to overview your ideal workflow and time commitments. Like, what does your workflow actually look like? How many hours are you working a day? Because that's all about your mental health and your happiness, right? And we're all building towards some form of retirement at some point, or some phased, version of our workflow that changes as we get older. And so mapping that out is really important too. Not only what your ideal workflow is now, but what your ideal workflow looks like in 10 years or in 20 years, and what your financial picture may look like to support that. But
Yeah.
with each mind map comes some really core priority branches, I call them. You can see here the priority section.
Uh-huh.
This I review with each client every month. So we have our action items, which are really important, personal and business. That can be any initiatives or projects you have going on, and we
Wow.
break them down into tiers. So you have your tier one projects, your tier two projects, which may be active but less priority, or tier two could be not active yet, but coming up, maybe dependent on a tier one project to get finished first. So we try and look at always in things in phases if we can. So we're always looking long, short, mid, and long term, not just what's right in front of us. The idea here and the master idea behind all of this planning is proactivity. We want to be as proactive as possible. We do not want to be reactive, because reactivity is what causes stress. So the best way to reduce stress is be proactive with your planning. But once we take a look at the master action items, that's typically the first and most important category that we look at every meeting. But then another really cool one is the master parking lot. That's where you park future considerations, decisions that are upcoming, important things you want to think about. These could be ideas or potential projects, things that take up a little bit of brain space that we want to take out of our head and park here to create a little bit more reduce that cognitive load a little bit. The other really cool section here is the master long-term plan. This section is really focused on the long term, let's say more than 1 year out. We have our section here focused on time, our time management section. That's really focused on the next 12 months, your trips and travel where you are, and the next 30 days. So let's call this short and midterm. While long-term planning on this side of the equation, that's really focused on your estate and your death plan, your retirement objective, and your overarching vision. So what are we orienting towards? What are we moving towards with each of our day-to-day actions? And sketching that out into a phased long-term plan. So this
Wow.
becomes like a high-level timeline of major transitions or major events and milestones, legacy moments, and you want to define your roles and your theme over time. So maybe what do you think your theme was going to be for 1 year, in 2026? What about the 2 year from 2026 to 2027? In the 3 to 5 year, the 5 to 10 year, and a 10+ year. So you can really break your life plan down into these phases, and these are all customized, so we can change any of these at any time. But these are the base ones that I start with, and we can kind of pick a role or a title or a theme for each year. What is our theme for 2026, and then on the next phase of our life, say some people may be having kids, or maybe selling a business, or maybe starting a new business. What is the theme for that, this new phase of your life? I think that's a really cool aspect to consider. But we really break that down into your strategic anchors. What are you trying to stay true to no matter what, no matter how details shift? Anti-vision, what are things that we're explicitly avoiding in our long-term plan? And evolving beliefs, how are mental models shifting over time, and how does it affect our plan? But the master long-term plan section is one of my favorites, and I think that's one of the most de-stressing tools that we have at our fingertips here. Because if you know your long-term plan, then you know exactly where you need to go in the now. So knowing your long-term plan helps you stay more present and helps you reduce that stress. The and one of the key if once you know your long-term plan, one of the key sections becomes your short-term goals and your habits. Once we know where we're going with our long-term plan, what kind of habits and routines are we instilling to get there? What kind of short-term goals are we working on to get to our phase one or our phase two of our long-term plan? So these sections are really key, and these I like to review with clients every single week or every single month. Some clients like to meet quarterly. It just depends on the cadence that's most effective for you, and how much you're using it yourself. I think if you're using this software and you're building out your plan in between sessions, a lot of people will use this daily, weekly, and maybe they'll meet with me once a month, once a quarter. For the people that want a little more handholding and want somebody to build their plan for them, I'll meet with them weekly, sometimes even a couple times a week, or that could be even monthly. I think monthly is typically the best place to start, but you can really get into it granular if you really want to start using it effectively on a weekly basis. That's where it gets really a lot more of an intensive process, but it can really become more of an accurate dashboard for managing your life and for your business. But each session, when we do a session, we create an agenda. So the kickoff meeting is typically just a introduction to what mapping is, kind of what we're doing on this call. We begin sketching a skeleton map. So what I have here right now in front of us is more of a skeleton map. It's got some categories to it. Like under time management, it's got some breakdown. Lifestyle, I just put one here, for example, your activities, your hobbies, having fun, but that could be philanthropy. Um, it could be any other category as part of your life. And then relationship management, I've got some basic ones like your extended family, your social circle, which I'd break down into tier one and tier two friends. And uh,
You know what I love
that's a
about
really
that?
interesting
I think we
concept.
talked about this when we did it. What I love about that idea is that for my team, right? I build teams. And so when you have
Mhm.
a team like that, you could really focus in on the team goals and individual. I think in my map that we did, we actually had individual people that I was working on, and then the goals for each of those
Exactly.
people. And you could just expand. What a team building tool, right?
Oh, it's a great team building tool. And even under the business management section, I always have a section for team management. And under team management, you may have like who your employees are or who your key people are, how are you compensating them, what kind of leadership team are you building, and how are you impacting them with your leadership? And then even from a human resources perspective, how are we supporting our employees? But this is a cool, the team management is a crucial aspect of any business plan. And since this dashboard really becomes like a living and breathing business plan, I think it's key to be figuring out what are your goals for your key people, what outcomes do you see for them, and how can you support them as the business owner or the leader on the team.
It's a living and breathing vision board too, which I really like. And that can be continued because
Absolutely.
also it's colorful and creative looking, which is important to me. The black and white Excel spreadsheets and things like that just bore me. This is so beautiful.
Yeah.
And I love that it's called a map like that. I just think it's a
Yeah.
really great tool. When I saw it, guys, I just knew I had to introduce you to him and to what he's doing because this can really make a difference in your actions. We all have the dreams, and then I can talk to people and we set the goals, but sometimes we don't know how to go about the goals, or we let our mindset and excuses get in the way, or I don't have the resources. And what I like is that you work with people really on a level and meet them where they're at. So, I mean, if I have people watching this, I'm going to be putting Joey's info in the comments. And also, you can get a hold of me and see how we can utilize it to help you in your business and to execute your goals, like you're saying there. I love it. I'm so grateful that you were able to share this in the recording. I haven't done that really too much. So I'm grateful that it worked out. Before we go, would you share some last minute things that you'd like to share with everybody, and that you do a free consultation like you did with me, and how people can do that for
Yeah.
sure?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, this is the an absolute my number one passion. So I love doing this, and my goal is to do this for as many people as I can. So I have part of my business where I do paid services and I do sessions for clients where I build out your map for you. And I do complimentary sessions for first time people. So one or two, one and a half for the complimentary, the beta build out of it. But I love to do those for people, it gets them a little bit of a taste for it before they try and dive into anything. And it lets them try something before they commit to it. But I find that this does really work for most people. All humans are visual learners by our nature. But I think the complimentary session is really cool. Feel free to reach out and take advantage of that. I'd love to do one for you. And the other half of my business is I really like doing this for people for in need organizations or people in need. So I do a lot of free maps for people that are either in financial difficulties or nonprofit organizations. So feel free to reach out if you're in those situations as well. I'd love to try and be helpful, but that's part of my passion is I think this is a tool that can really help people and can really help people reduce their stress and improve their quality of life. And that's my main mission overall is how can I help as many people in my community do that as I possibly can.
Wow, that's my mission too. And that's why we like each other. And what a great idea for a nonprofit. Guys, if you have a nonprofit that you love, this might be a great free consultation to check out how he can be of support. Because we've got to get clear. That helps alleviate the stress. And I just think that when we work together and collaborate on that, I like the idea of you supporting it during the session and utilizing this. I've worked with a lot of coaches, and I have yet to see something like this. So it stood out to me, Joey, and I'm just really grateful to be able to share it with my clients, my team, my friends, my space. And I agree with you
Oh
100%. It's
yeah,
all
me
about reducing stress,
too.
right? What? Say it again. You broke up for a minute.
All about reducing stress. And I think you make a great point that however we can do that, I think that's how I initially discovered this tool was I was trying to reduce my own stress. I was trying to organize my own business and my own next phase of life. And I saw all my friends and family around me struggling with the same thing and all the businesses I had worked for struggling with the same thing. And so this tool I really created for to meet that need. And I'm really excited to share it with you guys.
Who's your ideal client?
Think my ideal client is somebody who's really got it takes a lot of self-motivation. It's a very introspective exercise to do this map. So you got to be self-motivated. It's got to be someone who's really motivated to make a change, really motivated to change their life for the better, maybe business that's in growth mode. Maybe it's a nonprofit that's launching new initiatives, get a little more organized and proactive. That's the tool and pour their energy, their most valuable resources, their time. So to pour a little bit of your time into yourself and fill your own cup, I think that's the key is investing in yourself. And that's what this tool does. It's a big investment in yourself.
Well, I'm sure my followers can understand why I really liked what you have to share, because I say the same thing all the time. You are your greatest investment. So invest in you and your well-being, mental, physical, spiritual, financial, all of it. I am definitely working in that
Right.
direction. So Joey, thanks for your time and thank you for listening, guys. I'm going to
Absolutely.
put his info in there. And if you're on the replay, give us a shout out. Thank you again, Joey, for taking the time to help me with mine. And I look forward to doing some more with you.
Of course, yes, I love doing it with you. That was a lot of fun. Part of the fun of this all is we get to know each other really well as part of the process. So it's really enjoyable for both parties.
It is. You guys reach out to Joey. He's awesome.
Thank you guys. Thanks,
Thank
Janice. You're the
you. I'll
best.
get you the recording, Joey.
Okay, thanks.